How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great.
Things you've been working on during the off season and during camp
Yeah, definitely.
this
Oh,
year?
yeah, definitely. There's some technique changes I made really early on after the season that I think has contributed to more power. I feel like I'm a more efficient kicker. I've always swung really hard, but the ball hasn't necessarily gone as far as I feel like it should for a guy that's 6'4" and I think relatively explosive. I think kickoffs, my leg power really shows, but on field goals, I think I've just changed some technique stuff. So I'm even more efficient. I think the ball is going as far as it ever has now for field goals. So.
What does that mean? Do you feel like with regard to field goals, you've increased your range even more?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm hitting 63 yards into the wind when wind's at my back. We've gone to 70, 72. In that Chicago game, we made 68, and 74 was a little short. But I feel like I have a lot of distance now, and that'll hopefully come up this season.
Harrison, can you walk us through those slight alterations in your technique and what made you feel like it was necessary?
Yeah.
Stage of your career.
So some of the top guys, let's just say Justin Tucker, if you watch his film, his ball rotation, you see the laces are pretty much in the middle the entire time. If you watch me or some other maybe inefficient kickers, if you're looking at the ball rotation, the laces are way left, way right. The ball's not going completely end over end. So if I put the same amount of energy into a kick and the ball's going end over end versus a lot of same amount of energy into another kick where I maybe have my toe forward, it's not a completely flush kick. I want my foot to be perpendicular with the ball. If it's not perpendicular with the ball's not going to be going end over end, and so it's just not going to go as far, right? So that's kind of what I mean as being efficient. One way you achieve that is having your foot perpendicular to the ball, and then after contact is your foot following the ball. And I think I have an issue of my foot makes contact with the ball, and then very early on my foot's going off left. So I'm losing all this energy, whereas now I feel like my foot is following the ball for a lot longer. I'm getting nice rotation. I think I'm getting more energy behind that kick.
We saw you hit that one against Chicago pregame.
Yeah.
How did that feel? I guess was that part of the feeling like you gained something this offseason?
Yeah, the 68-yarder I didn't even hit well. I was surprised that went in. I think the 70, 2 or 4 it was, I hit too high, so it fell a little short. Every game, though, I want to know my distance both directions. So the other way, I think we made 61 or 63, and then the direction with the wind. I want to see what that is. So halftime, end of a game, the coaches can feel confident putting me out there for a 70-yarder if I showed that in warm-up.
Harrison, you talked about efficiency. You got a guy, Justin Reed, that's campaigning to be your backup.
Yeah.
How efficient was he when you watched his kickoff film?
It's crazy because he's actually not very efficient, but the ball goes so far. You know what I'm saying? It was phase 2. He got a kick in the indoor, and he told me, I love the specialists. I kicked a lot with Kaimi, with the Texans, and I think I had seen some videos of him kicking. But in the indoor, he was just bombing balls with a ton of height, so I knew he had a big leg. And I just thought, he just wanted to kick some footballs, and he just naturally has the technique. Come to find out, he played travel soccer all throughout high school, so he got that rhythm and technique from a young age. But he's got a big leg, and I think it's just fine tuning it. And if I was him, I would take advantage of Tommy and me and learn as much as he can from us, because he made an extra point when the pressure was on in preseason. So I'm all for it. I'm all for evolving the game of kicking and pushing the limits. And so to have more people that are enthusiastic about being kickers, I'm all for it.
So he has an invitation to the special teams meetings.
I'm sure he's busy during that time with the safeties, but no, we love it. I mean, Tommy coaches me up. I help Tommy out. We just spend so much time together, and we kind of understand kicking and everything. I think it's my children yelling at me. I was wondering. It sounds familiar. Yeah.
You know the elation of making a big kick, but yeah, you gave Justin a hug. Can you just describe what it was like to see his elation in a game that is preseason game?
You have so many people that hit you up on Twitter, Instagram, saying, "Man, I'm gonna take your job," because I made a kick on a high school field, right? But to do it in a game, that's super impressive. These stadiums, they generate wind. Fields can be different than just a turf field. And he went out there and he made the kick when the pressure was on. Nobody blocked the kick. So I'm super pumped for him. I know how difficult that is to go out there and execute when he doesn't really practice it. And
It's been some guys have been out this week, right? What
Yeah.
can you guys gain from being able to go out there and have Travis snap the ball or snap or someone else hold, what can you gain from that this week?
I think it's great for all of us. You know, I haven't kicked with a different snapper. Maybe I'll get some reps in tomorrow. But it's great for Tommy to be able to confidently be in there and know if something happens, knock on wood, to James, there can be a backup that can fill in for the rest of the game, and we can still get by. You know, Kelsey's a great athlete. He was able to get some great snaps in. Gore did a good job as well. But if we ever needed to get through a game, it's nice to know those guys can kind of take over for us and fill in.
You spent your time with the ankle. Are you okay there, and are you through that?
Yeah, I was able to kick today, and I'll kick tomorrow, and I think it was just precautionary, just resting from coming off a game and just giving it time to go.
You mentioned the platform you have. How do you determine what to advocate for publicly and not? That must be, I'm sure, a complicated thing to think about all the time.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Coach Reed always says, let our personalities show. So, you know, if it's really close to my heart, I will speak out about it, you know, as an individual away from the Chiefs. So you just pray about it, and if God puts it on your heart, then speak up.
I was just going to say that is something you foresee yourself continuing to do as well?
I don't know if politics is something I would get into, but I think God has given us a platform. And like I said, if it is close to your heart, you know, I think we should speak up. And we've seen that across the whole league the past really 2 years or so. You know, if you want to get involved, get involved. Clark Hunt talks about, you know, if there's something in the community you want to be involved with, he's more than happy to help with it. So I think it's how do we get back to the community and get involved.
Any adverse reaction from teammates or anything like that?
Or what are you referring to?
To your commercial that you were at?
No, it's actually we all respect each other's opinions. That's what we love about football is it's kind of like a melting pot. A bunch of different guys, different backgrounds, different personalities, different viewpoints come together, and we can just kind of hang out and talk about stuff. At the end of the day, we're Chiefs football players, and we're trying to practice as hard as we can to come together during a game and win it. But I think it's a great time for us to dialogue and just talk about, you know, each other's viewpoints.
Harrison, you mentioned, like, you know, people coming at you on Twitter about kicking, right? Stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
How do you, when you get involved with every issue is divisive in America these
Right,
days,
right.
it seems. How do you handle that part of it when it's not your teammates, it's someone you may not even know
Yeah.
reaching out to you?
Yeah, this is something I changed probably last year, maybe a year and a half ago, but I don't look at comments or DMs anymore. So early on in my career, I'd get DMs all the time, or, you know, on YouTube, you'd see like, you know, Justin Tucker, I'm coming for your job, or Harrison Butker. So I'd see that stuff, but I don't look at the comments or the DMs anymore. I think you have to prioritize the people whose opinions you care about. And I think a lot of times as athletes, we love getting praised. So you care about getting praised, you care about people's opinions then, but if they have negative opinions, then you don't want to listen to it. But if they're not part of your inner circle and you really don't care about their opinion, then I don't think you should listen to it, whether it's good or bad. So keep my circle tight, and I love posting on there, you know, putting stuff out on social media. But as far as viewing comments and DMs, I've strayed away from that, and that's really helped me just do what I need to do, you know.
You mentioned Justin Tucker earlier.
Right.
Do you get a chance to spend much time with him and talk to him, and what do you guys discuss and work on?
Not a ton. You know, Tucker's agent was a guy that I was looking at when I was coming out from college, so I got to talk to Justin a little bit there. You know, Justin was in the league when I was, I think, a senior in high school, so I watched him all throughout college, you know, and the things that he's been able to do have been very impressive. And every time we get to play him, I try to pick his brain as much as I can, but I have a lot of respect for what he does. And I think he's a guy that's evolving the game and pushing the limits.
70's a huge number. Would you love to get a chance in a game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the conditions have to be right. You know, it's got to be warm, probably some wind at your back. But like I was talking about with Justin, you got to do it when the pressure's on, you know, full snap hold. Team's coming to block the kick. But I feel like I have the distance for it, definitely.
Okay, thanks, Harrison.
Thank you, guys.